Hi everyone. So it's been a while since my last vlog update, but I've managed to put an episode together for you. It's a bit of an odd episode. It's a mishmash of all sorts of footage that I had stored on my phone, some of which is actually from before the last vlog episode I did, which was my trip to Scotland to visit my mum. I had some footage from before that didn't fit into that episode. So I've just taken it all and put it into this one, which is kind of nice. It's like a little summary of my year almost. So the earliest footage is from the spring of this year. Two little outings I did. The first one was before I had any of my COVID vaccinations, and I think the second one I was halfway vaccinated, which I mention now because I think I talk about it in the clips a little bit. The first spring outing that I'll show you, I went down to my local park to visit the Egyptian geese that I have shown and talked about on the vlog before. I went down to see whether they'd had any babies this year, and also to have a little look at the kind of spring foliage. There's certain spring plants in London that I love to see, like magnolia and stuff, so I did a little walk around. The second outing was a short little outing to pick up something from my friend Rupa's house that she'd bought for me, and I was going to collect it. I then did a little walk around the area where she lives in South London. Went to Dulwich Park and just did another little kind of spring walk to enjoy the weather being a little bit warmer than it had been. Then a little bit later in the summer, there's footage from a walk I did where I walked from my house in South London right into the centre of town to meet a friend at Foyle's bookshop to sign a few books there for the lovely Patrick Ray, who's an Avery Hill publishing creator who works there. And had asked if I would go in and sign some copies of my books, which was really nice. So I managed to combine that with meeting a friend that I hadn't seen for God knows how long. But I also decided to just take advantage of the nice weather and do a really long walk into central London. I also went to St James's Park, which is kind of quite touristy, but also quite a beautiful park in London that has a lot of water birds, including pelicans, which you don't often see in this country. So I went to have a look at those. Then this episode will end with some footage from a recent trip I made to Devon last month with my friend Rupa to go and visit my friend Katie, who lives down there near Dartmoor. It wasn't the longest trip. It was about 5 days, I think. But it was the furthest afield that I'd been since my Scotland trip, so I was sort of still being careful with the whole travel and COVID stuff. But yeah, that was a really lovely little trip. I don't have the most footage from that because I had a disaster on my first morning there that I woke up in Devon. My phone had completely died and all I had on me was my iPad, which I use for sort of work and drawing. I found out that filming stuff on the iPad outdoors is quite hard because it has a much bigger surface area than a phone. So like if there's any wind or anything and you're trying to walk and hold it steady, it's quite hard. But I sort of did my best. And we went to the Totnes Rare Breeds farm. So there's some footage of cute animals that I've included as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoy seeing what I've been up to. I'm on an outing today and it's a really gorgeous day for it. I travelled across a bit of South London to where my friend Rupa lives to collect these, which are some frozen pandan leaves that she got from an Asian supermarket for me. She was visiting anyway and she knew that I wanted some of these for a recipe, so she got them for me and I've come down to where she lives to collect them. And it was a really nice day to have an excuse to leave the house because it's really sunny and gorgeous. So I'm in the gardens of the Horniman Museum where they have some sheep and alpaca and rabbits and things, and I'm just doing a little bit of a walk for my daily exercise. And pretty soon I'll be heading home. It's pretty strange. It was only my 4th time using public transport, I think, since the pandemic started. So that's, over a year now. And it still feels quite surreal to get on a train or a bus. But anyway, it's such a nice day to get out, and I'm sort of halfway vaccinated now, so it feels a little bit less stressful than it used to. This is Dulwich Park, not very far from the Horniman Gardens where I just was, and because it's kind of within walking distance, I thought I would come and have a little walk in here as well. I think I've only been here maybe 2 or 3 times before, and I remember it being very beautiful, so doing a long walk today.
What I'm up to today is I'm about to head into central London. And when I was planning this little outing, I was trying to remember the last time that I've been in central London, and I worked out that unless there's something I've forgotten about, it was actually a full 2 years ago, which is absolutely ages. So it's kind of quite exciting in a weird way. And it's also something I've been meaning to do for ages. I'm just popping into Foyle's bookshop on Charing Cross Road, which is one of my favourite bookshops in London. One of the Avery Hill creators, Patrick Ray, who made the book The Flood That Did Come, which came out last year, he works at that branch of Foyle's, and he's been saying for God knows how long, 6 months, longer, I can't even remember, that I should pop in and sign some copies of my book. And obviously with all the lockdowns and all the different things going on, it's just not happened for ages. The shop's not been that busy, and I haven't wanted to kind of travel into town particularly. But it's kind of getting to the point now where I'm starting to feel like I can do some more things. I've got both my vaccinations. So I thought I would actually walk there from where I live. It's a 2-hour walk, pretty much around kind of 2 hours. And I'm going to take a route that I haven't done before. Is it Vauxhall Bridge? I think it's Vauxhall Bridge. I'll check. But yeah, I'm going to go that way. Usually when I cross the Thames, I cross either Hungerford or Waterloo Bridge. I'm always kind of on that side of town. So I thought from where I am, I can kind of do a slightly east-west. My geography's terrible. A slightly more west route. And I can also go via St James's Park, which is another place I've been meaning to visit for ages. I won't walk home. I'll probably take the bus home. But yeah, looking forward to it. The weather's not brilliant today. It's kind of there's a bit of sun, but there's also lots of cloud, but it's likely to get cloudier as the day goes on. So I'm going to head off now and see if I can get at least a little bit of my walk while there's still patches of sunshine.
Sorry, it's pretty noisy out here. First stop is dropping off some parcels in the post office. So I've headed off the main road. I could have gone along Brixton Hill, but I know it really well. It used to be my commute to work. So I'm going down the back streets to kind of see what kind of interesting buildings I come across. And there's one ahead of me right now. The street I'm on right now is sort of around the back of Brixton Prison, and I was wondering if we'd be able to see any of it. It turns out you can. That's it right there. You can see some kind of netting there, I guess to stop people throwing things. Getting closer to the river now, just past Clapham North Station and heading towards Little Portugal, which sounds nice. I just passed a couple of Portuguese restaurants. So this is Stockwell, very exciting. Up ahead at the end of this road I can see the Elephant and Castle tower block, and then just beyond that the Shard at London Bridge. So just approaching Vauxhall Bridge now, but having consulted with Sergio, who's been cycling around this area a lot, he's recommended that I go over Lambeth Bridge instead, which kind of takes me to the back of Westminster. So I'm going to head over that way. Kind of heading underneath Vauxhall Station right now, and heading towards Lambeth Bridge. finally made it to the river, and there is the bridge that I'm heading for over there. Can't believe how nice and sunny it is still. The forecast was saying that by this point it might be kind of starting to rain, so I'm really pleased. A friend I used to have working at the theatre used to live on a houseboat somewhere over there, I think, in the kind of Vauxhall area. Yeah, I went to visit it one time and it was right by one of these hotels that had a helipad, so there were constantly helicopters landing. I think this was also the sort of area where there was a helicopter crash quite a few years back that was pretty bad. I think it hit something on top of a crane on top of one of these buildings. And there's Parliament, and the bit of the Thames that I'm most familiar with, just beyond the London Eye, the big wheel there, where I used to work. So I'm officially north of the river now. I think the last time I was north of the river was autumn 2019 for the Hackney Comic and Zine Fair. At least that's the last time I can remember crossing the river. Now this is posh, guys. This is pretty posh. I have made it to the park, which is really exciting. I'm going to go and look for the water birds now and somewhere to have my packed lunch. Just thought I'd film with this gorgeous elder tree, which has been in flower for a while behind me here. It's absolutely huge and beautiful this year, so I've been really enjoying looking at that. I've come out on the roof to harvest a little bit of my lettuce that I've been growing up here. I'm trying to do the thing where you kind of take a few of the outer leaves at a time rather than harvesting the whole lettuce, in the hope that it continues to kind of grow for a while and you can maybe get more leaves out of it than you would if you harvested in one go. Here we go. I've already taken a few leaves off, that one there, and possibly over there, I can't remember. But yeah, I've got some quite nice sized little gems here. So here are my tall lettuces. I checked the other day what time of year I planted these out. It was May, towards I think the first week of May. It's now almost August, and I've been harvesting these every week since then, so it's been pretty good. You can see that they're just reaching the end of their kind of life now. They're starting to kind of flower because they've been pushed as far as they can go, but it's been brilliant. I've taken so many leaves off the bottom of these week after week, and they've just kept kind of getting bigger and bigger, so I'm definitely going to keep doing this with lettuce. So here is what we have growing in our indoor garden at the moment. These are kind of mini dill pickles, cornichons. I've actually just picked all the larger ones, but you can see some small ones here. We struggled with this plant at first, got absolutely enormous, and then started not doing so well, and lots of the leaves turned brown and came off, and the flowers, there were loads of flowers but they weren't really fertilising, so we were fertilising by hand and still not much was happening. We were getting a lot of these, like just withered fruit that didn't make it to a full size. But someone suggested we had an iron deficiency. You can see a little of the colouring here, and we did treat it with iron and it seems to be doing a lot better now. And we have got some fruit from it, which has been really fun. We've been making little pickles. And the other big success, I repotted my chili plant, which is grown from seeds from actual dried chilies that we bought in Mexico and brought back. This was a reasonably large chili plant. I repotted it and it's kind of doubled in size. It was kind of about this high before, and now it's got all this extra growth, and it's currently got quite a lot of quite big chilies on it, which need picking. So this is what we're growing indoors at the moment. This year my really shady window box at the back is lobelia, which took a while to flower, but now there's quite a lot of flowers here, which is quite nice. This is probably the area that still needs the most work. I've got a few plants that are going to get quite big, hopefully. Can't remember what this is called, but this is a shrub that will grow quite large and sort of spread quite a bit to fill some of this space. Got a lovely little silvery fern down there that I thought was dead, but it's come back to life. So that struggled in a sunny spot, so I've moved it into the shade here and it seems to be doing better. And this shady flower bed here, my fern from upstairs is doing brilliantly down here this year. I've just got loads of this drooping sedge which grew all on its own, which I'll probably kind of remove and try and fill with something else at some point, but for now I'm leaving it because it's just filling the space, and it's a space where a lot of things struggle to grow in the shade, so quite happy that there's something there at least. This climbing plant here started to appear through the fence. I saw one strand of it last year and I wasn't sure what it was, but I think it's possibly a Japanese honeysuckle. So this year we've cleared a lot of space for it and put this sort of trellis thing up, and it's doing really well. I think it's actually growing on the other side of the fence, but it's coming through to our side, which is great because this is the fence where we removed all the ivy. We removed a huge amount, and it would be nice to replace that with something that's not quite so destructive. You might remember from last time that we removed a huge amount of ivy from this fence. You can still see there's some dead bits left that we have to get rid of at the end of the year. And this entire fence here, this is the huge bit of dead ivy up here that we don't know quite how to get rid of until we get a good ladder. So for now that's just staying there. It provides quite a bit of shelter for birds visiting our little bird feeder there, so that's quite good. But yeah, it's brilliant. This flower bed last year was totally in shade all of the time, and this year it's completely transformed, so I'm able to grow a lot more flowers and things on that side. The buddleia there that we cut way back, it was enormous. We weren't even sure if it was going to survive this crazy pruning we gave it, but yeah, it's back and we're just trying to keep it really small. We've got a little bird bath this year. We're not entirely sure if this will be the final location for it, but yeah, that's quite cute. And here I've grown from seeds zinnia and dahlias, and they are just about to flower, I think, so I'll have to come back and film those when they're finally in flower. This year the passion vine, which last year I transplanted from upstairs, and it kind of grew a little bit but it didn't flower. It's doing brilliantly this year. It's covering this whole fence and it's just started to flower now.
Stop butting me.